Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the NXT Event Center Wrestling Report. And now here's the man that will bring you all the wrestling happenings from the WWE Superstars of tomorrow, Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello, all the lovable nutcases out there. My name is Eric Lima. You're watching. This is my show, my Eric Lima Shenanigans from 1977. Now, why did I call it that? Well, it's simple science, ladies and gentlemen. I was born in 1977. I caused a lot of shenanigans since that year, and I think I was traded for Elvis. I know Elvis died the same year I did. I mean, Elvis died the same. If I died, I'm still alive. Why am I talking? Elvis died the same year I was born, so it felt like God just said, "Well, we'll give you this young baby. You give us Elvis." So I was traded for Elvis. Now, God rest Elvis. So Elvis is the king of rock and roll. You got Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Now, I'm sure they're doing a lot of collaborations up there in the big sky, and who knows. It's been quite the day today, let me tell you, folks. But we got to watch, and I think a great way to end a day that, started off with me working hard, sweating my butt off because I've been doing a job of almost two people because one of my coworkers, she has the first 3 days of the week. She'll be back on Thursday, so thank God for that. And so I've been working hard to the bone after drinking a whole bottle of Gatorade, for goodness sakes, orange Gatorade, mind you. But however, Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman. Your man, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. What celebrity begins with a Q? Your man, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. Let me see if I can play it again. I want to see if I can play it again, because that was... let's see. Yeah. Oh, hello, Ray Ripley. Where is it? I gotta go to the YouTube Renegades chat. There we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Now, what's the capital of Egypt? Pyramid. During what month of pregnancy does a woman begin to look pregnant? Whenever his first name begins with the letter Q.
Oh, this is really good.
Q, yeah. Your man, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman.
That's the funniest thing I ever heard. Hugh Jackman. Oh my God. Oh man. That was the funniest thing ever, man. I was busting the gut. Oh man, talk about viral videos. I gotta do that one. Like the top 5 viral videos that made me laugh so hard. Oh. Oh my gosh. Whoo, man. I think I know 4 of them already. This is one of them. Oh, good Lord. Oh man, what a... all right. Let's get going here for NXT before... So, anyways. It started off with a matchup. Kehlani Jordan going one-on-one with the lovely Blake Monroe. And during the matchup, as they were going at it, Jordan Grace shows up, neck brace and all, was so ticked off at Monroe. She chases Monroe out of the arena during the match. She jumps into an SUV and takes off. Question, who's the driver? That's what we want to know. And Jordan Grace was upset. But in the ring, Kehlani joins in the ring, and Blake Monroe got counted out. Kehlani Jordan picked up the victory there. How crazy is that, right? And then Chase U were talking about, their tag team title match. He said, can we do it? And Andre Chase said, yeah, I got you. So Hank and Tank were defending it against Chase U, Cale Dixon, and Uriah Connors. Uriah Connors, if you don't know, he is the son of Philly. In fact, he is a fourth-generation wrestler. I think between him and Ava, I think I think Shane McMahon's also a fourth-generational, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that third-generational? I forget. Anyways, I think Uriah Connors could be the first fourth generation in WWE history if he ends up making it to the main roster. They had that match, and Hank and Tank retained, but then Dark State attacked both teams after the match. So we'll see how the champs feel about that. Meanwhile, Fatal Influence was talking about Jada Parker, how Jasmine Nix failed to defeat her, and they decided to have her play Gopher and shine up the belts. As George Iceman, the personal concierge for the Elegance brand, interrupts them and basically says that you better shine those belts up because Ash by Elegance is coming after that TNA Knockouts Championship. And then Laney Reed shows up. Ain't the rookie supposed to shine those up? And then they give the belts to Jasmine Nix. You shine them up. So, and then Miles Bourne was talking to TV on Heights, saying how proud they are of each other. So I got to go take care of Lexis King. He said, "Do your thing, man." So do you? And the culling was the Tatum Paxton was very nervous about trying to get the women's North American title back, bringing it to the culling, and then Izzy Dane goes, "You got this." Sean Spears says, "You got it," and it's all about you. And then Thea Hale was on social media. I think it was a Caffeine Adventure or something like that. Although Thea Hale's a funny, very funny young lady, and then she was drinking coffee. She goes, "Oh, this might be Nia Jax." Well, why are you talking about Nia Jax? I can't stand Nia Jax. So that's how the match started. I'm like, Thea Hale, you're a crazy woman. Anyways, Miles Bourne took on Lexis King, and Miles Bourne did pick up the victory over the former NXT Heritage Cup champion. Meanwhile, Dark State was addressing their attack, and then they said, "We're not done yet." So I want to know what's up next. Thea Hale took on Nia Jax. Nia Jax ended up being the winner, and Kelly Kincaid, God bless her, she had an interview Nia Jax after the match. If Nia Jax runs her mouth about Lash Legend, Lash Legend comes out, and Nia Jax forgets that Lash Legend body slammed Otis, for goodness sake. Well, speaking of Otis, I hope he's okay. So, and then both women started a brawl. Security's trying to separate these two. Good luck with that. And then Ava was talking to Jordan Grace. She said, "You know what? You and her, I'm going to go at it at Heatwave, and you know what? I'll agree. Blake Monroe deserves to get her butt kicked." And then Jordan Grace, you got it. And they fist bump. And then Obafemi was addressing his NXT next NXT title challenger, Trick Williams. Oh, I'm going to run this back now. Interrupts Femi. And Trick Williams wants to get more gold around his waist. And then Javon Evans interrupts both men and wants to challenge Trick Williams. He said, "You know what? Not right now, but in 2 weeks, how about Philadelphia?" So Javon Evans is fine. Moose came back to interrupt all three men and is aiming to get the TNA World Title from Trick Williams. So as they were about to talk smack, here comes Dark State again, and brawls with all four men, but Obafemi started cleaning house this time, like he was ready for them. And Javon Evans and Trick Williams were ready for them too. And then I think Moose knows how to think it too about attacking in packs. So, Ariana Grace talking to Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Are we going to see the real life couple hookup? The real life couple hookup on TV? For a storyline, maybe? About time that Ariana Grace gets a little serious, though. I mean, love the beauty queen gimmick and all, but it makes her look kind of, I don't want to say it makes her look goofy, but that means she was a beauty queen, obviously. But she's got to go, you know. It's like, get serious. And, if you want to, you want to be a champion, get serious, girl. Get serious. Maybe hanging out with Channing Stacks Lorenzo could help. Who knows? Anyways, but while they were talking, they continued to brawl. The back security's chasing them. I was like, stay out of these ladies' ways, man. Let them brawl. And then Rick Sinclair talked to Charlie Dempsey. Dempsey's kind of like down in the dumps after losing Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne as members of the No Quarter Catch crew. And then he's, I know what to cheer. And then Ren Sinclair, I know what to cheer you up. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe. And Charlie Dempsey's annoyed. And then Joe Hendry pops out of the refrigerator, which is totally hilarious. And basically, and then Ren Sinclair was wearing a similar Joe Hendry shirt. And Joe Hendry gives, I can't wait to wear this when I wear this, never. I think Charlie Dempsey and Joe Hendry could be in the next feud. England versus Scotland. I don't wonder. So we'll see what happens there. Hugh Jackman. That's Irish. Your man, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. Anyways, so Yoshiki Inamura went up against Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Ariana Grace gets involved during the matchup and ends up slapping Inamura across the face. I was like, and then I thought Yoshiki was. I said, she's beautiful, man. Don't even do it, man. Not even worth it. If I were Yoshiki Inamura, I would recruit somebody to set Ariana Grace straight. You know what? You know what I would do? If I was Yoshiki Inamura's shoes and I got slapped by Ariana Grace, I would have challenged her and Stacks to a mixed tag. I would bring Io Sky with me. Or better yet, bring Asuka so she spit that mist. Or Kairi Sane. Or Julia. Anybody. Any woman for that matter. Stephanie Becker, Heck, I would say I'd bring back Gigi Dolan so she can get her revenge on Ariana Grace for that low blow that she did. Yeah, I can't believe you can't disqualify on a low blow during a women's matchup, man. Let me tell you. That was probably one of the craziest end matches ending to a match I ever heard of in a woman, especially in a women's match, So anyways, but Josh Briggs attacks Inamura, and Stacks end up picking the victory as a result. Ethan Page addresses the Orlando crowd while he's the greatest North American, he's the greatest Canadian champion. Tavion Heights comes out, interrupts him, and wants to challenge him to a matchup for the title, and Ethan Page is running his mouth. By the way, Ethan Page will make an appearance in my hometown in New Bedford, Kojo's Toy World at 1 o'clock. I don't know. I would love to go to Kojo's Toy World. Here's a problem. Parking. It's hard to park in downtown New Bedford, let me tell you. It's a pain in the butt. So it's hard for me to go to Kojo's Toy World where you can't find a free parking space. So anyways, and then Chelsea Green and Secret Herbert interrupts both men. And then Chelsea Green, you don't have the balls to hit a woman. And she goes, you're right. And he punches Paige. Instead, I'll find a woman that can knock you out. I would not be surprised if TV Heights recruits Ren Sinclair for the job. But who knows? Keilani Jordan was talking to Lola Vice about Keilani's victory over Blake Monroe. They're talking about how Jordan Grace was chasing Blake Monroe out of the arena. And then Fatal Influence interrupts them, makes fun of them. And then Jasmine Nix comes back with the belts and say, I talked to Ava about getting you guys a tag team matchup. And I think I found her opponents. And that is going to happen next week. Keilani joining Lola Vice joining up against Fatal Influences, JC Jane and Fallon Henley. Zarya was talking to Sol Ruka. Zarya says she wants to get her hands on Tana Paxley. But I'll keep an eye on things outside the ring. And then Nia Jax and Lash Legend continue to brawl to the point where Ava breaks it up and say, you know what, next week you two are going at it. And she goes, and Lash Legend goes, fine, and they're separated. Like, hopefully get them out of the arena. Ava was talking to the four gentlemen that were attacked by Dark State. Evans, Femi, Moose, and Williams. And they're addressing in 2 weeks, you two will fight. The winner will face Obafemi at Heatwave. Meanwhile, Hank can take them in. And Hank can... yeah, but what about Dark State? He said, but we're not going to, we're doing it 2 weeks because you guys next week will be teaming up against Dark State in an 8-man tag. Well, Hank and Ted kind of object to that, and so they want Dark State. He says, and Ava goes, well, you two will be defending those titles against 2 members of Dark State and Heatwave. So that. Kelly Kincaid interviewed, sit-down interview with Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints says he's feeling fine. He says he's hoping to, he says he's hoping to make a mark, but he knows he's got Jasper Troy standing in his way, and we shall see what happens there. The women's North American title on the line, so Ruka defending it against Tatum Paxley. I forgot to write down who won that match, and I know it was Sol Ruka, because it got so crazy to the point where Nia Jax and Lash Legend were too busy continue to brawl out to ringside, distracting the Cullen, I thought Zarya was going to hit, or she's going to hit one of them. I personally want to see Zarya and Nia Jax go 1-on-1. That's Zarya's strength. But that, so Ruka took advantage of the distraction and situation, hits the Snow Snatcher, 1, 2, 3. So Ruka is still your women's North American champion. Now everyone was shocked to see her with a women's speed title around the waist. Rumor has it that speed has been canceled by the WWE on X. Maybe not a lot of people are watching it. So that means El Grande Americano and Sol Ruka could be the last speed champions in WWE history. Or they could defend their title on their respective shows, I think you know what you should do. The speed title should be open for any brand. Have them defend the title for 3 minutes on either Raw or SmackDown. Or even NXT. Who knows for sure. And defend it at a pay-per-view, why the heck not, right? So, that's all the time there is. Like I said, I had a long live stream, and I want to thank Jordan and Chayton for coming in and for us to hash everything out. We've done so, but in light of that, I'm still going to do my sabbatical. I think it's very, very important, and I'm sure there's other people out there will probably complain that if I get too many passes and stuff, but that's okay. And plus, we don't want history to repeat itself, so I'm good with that. Like I said, not my first rodeo, So thank you, Jordan and Shane. I also want to thank Dan, and once again, thank Dan and Alex Putnam. Guys went to bat for me. Appreciate it wholeheartedly. So there's that. This is the NXT Event Center report. Tomorrow, Joker's Wild, then Evolve, then Dynamite. We're going to have a lot of fun there. So, thank you very much for tuning in to episode 2442 of Eric Lima Shenanigans. And I will see you guys on the next episode tomorrow. Until that next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.